Welcome back to Ken Reads as we continue with our next Samantha story, Samantha Saves the Day. Chapter 1, Piney Point. Toot! With a cheerful blast of its whistle, the little steamboat chugged across Goose Lake toward Samantha. Its snappy red and white awning flapped at the breeze. Samantha skipped on her tiptoes the end of the dock, waving both arms wildly to welcome the boat and its passengers. Woohoo! Hello, she called. Agnes, Agatha, hello. As the boat came closer, Samantha could see Agnes and Agatha standing on the deck, waving hello to her. The red curls were as bright as poppies in the sunshine. The twins were coming to stay at Piney Point, Grandmary's summer home in the mountains. Uncle Guard and Aunt Cornelia were with them, and so was Admiral Archibald Bemis. He came all the way from England every summer to visit Grandmary. Samantha danced with excitement. It was wonderful to have all of her favorite people together at her favorite place in the world. That would be just like a big happy family. The boat pulled up to the dock, and Agnes and Agatha jumped ashore. Samantha, they cried together. Hello. They swooped up to hug her. We're finally here. Agatha was seasick, announced Agnes. I was not, protested Agatha. She was too, Agnes went on. And we weren't even on the boat yet. We were on the sleeper train from Albany, and curls, laughed Aunt Cornelia as she kissed Samantha hello. Tell Samantha later. Right now, you better scoot out of the way of the luggage. The girls stepped back as the boatmen unloaded satchels and trunks and whisker baskets and suitcases onto the dock. Uncle Guard and Admiral Bemis appeared behind the enormous pile of luggage. Uncle Guard was trying to carry 2 hat boxes, a parasol, and a picnic hamper. Pardon me, miss, he said to Samantha. Did I get off at the wrong stop? Is this Grand Central Station, New York? No, giggled Samantha. It's Piney Point, Uncle Guard. Finally, everyone's here at Piney Point. Righto, boomed the Admiral. He beamed with delight and saluted Samantha. His twinkly eyes were as blue as the lake. Samantha saluted back with a grin. Welcome ashore, Admiral, she said. Grandmary will be so happy to see you. We've been waiting all morning. Let's go up to the house. Samantha led everyone up to the steep hillside lake to the house. The twins exclaimed happily each step of the way. It's so cool here. It smells like Christmas trees. Ooh, look, a log cabin. It's huge. Grandmary was standing at the shady porch of the big log house. She looked as cool and serene as a cloud in her white summer dress. Welcome to Piney Point, my dear, she said to the twins. Gardner, Cornelia, hello. She smiled as she held out her hand to the Admiral. Archie, how lovely to see you. Lovely indeed, repeated the Admiral. Mary, you look as lovely as the day I met you, more than 30 years ago. He bowed over her head and kissed it. Grandmary laughed, a little pink in her cheeks. Oh, Archie, I am glad you're here. It doesn't seem like summer until you arrive. Summer it is, said Guard, and I feel as boiled as a summer squash after the trip. Who's first went? Me, cried all the girls together. All right, said Uncle Guard. He was already loosening his tie. I'll meet you at the lake in 5 minutes. Last one in is a rotten egg. Come on, Samantha said to the twins. Let's go and change. Wait, said Agnes as she followed Samantha down the porch. Where are we going? We don't have to live out in the woods, do we? Samantha grinned. No, one of the best things about Piney Point is that we all have our own little houses. The Admiral stays in the boathouse. Uncle Guard and Aunt Cornelia are in the Rose Cottage. And this is ours. She flung the door open to a one-room cottage. It has 3 tall windows facing the lake. Samantha had filled baskets with goldenrods and black-eyed Susans. Their fresh woodsy scent filled the house. Is this for all 3 of us? Asked Agatha. Just us and no grown-ups? That's right, said Samantha. Just us. I absolutely love it, sighed Agnes. She flopped over onto one of the 3 beds and looked around. Look at the chair made out of 3 tree branches. The branches are so shiny and twisted together. The chairs look like it's made out of pretzels. Our little house is like a tree house, said Agatha. She leaned out a window into the waving branch of a pine tree. Does it have a name too? Answered Samantha. She was pulling her bathing suit over her head. It's called Woodtick Inn. Would tick? Asked Agnes uncertainly. She sat up suddenly and looked at the corners of the room. Ticks are bugs, aren't they? Is it called wood tick in because it's full of horrible bugs? No, laughed Samantha. Not horrible bugs, but you might see a few ladybugs or spiders. Spiders? Agnes clutched her bathing suit to her chest. Oh, honestly, Agnes, said Agatha as she pulled off her long stockings. You're not in the city now. This is the wilderness. There's so many wildlife out here. We'll probably see lots of bears and wolves and hearing coyotes howl in the night. Isn't that right, Samantha? Well, I've never seen any bears or wolves, said Samantha, but there are lots of other animals to see, like deer and moose and rabbit, and the lake is full of fish. Do fish bite? Asked Agnes. Of course not, said Samantha, unless your toes look like worms. Come on, let's go swimming. She led the twins down a path covered with pine needles to the edge of the water. Look, Agnes, said Agatha. Gardner and the Admiral are on the big rock in the lake. Let's swim to them. All right, agreed Samantha. I think I'll just wait, said Agnes. She timidly put one toe in the water. I don't know what's the matter with her, said Agatha as she and Samantha splashed in the lake. She's brave enough in the city, but here she acts like a scaredy cat about little things like bugs and fish. Really? Don't worry, said Samantha. She'll get over it. Nobody stays fussy or scared at Piney Point. Come on, I'll race you to the rock. And Samantha was absolutely right. Piney Point quickly worked its magic on Agnes. In just a few days, she was splashing straight in the lake, right along with the other girls. When the Admiral took them trout fishing, Agnes even put the worms on the hook with her own fingers. Every day at Piney Point was filled with wonderful things to discover. In the morning, Mrs. Hawkins gave these girls sandwiches to put in their pack baskets, and off they went exploring. Samantha showed Agnes and Agatha where sweet red raspberries grew on the hillside. She led them to a sunny meadow where they caught butterflies with their long-handled necks. The three girls canoed to the marsh. There were turtles sunned themselves on the rocks. Noisy birds nested in the cattails, and frogs poked their eyes out of the water. One day they saw a mother deer and her fawn very near their house, and once they watched a big elk drinking out of the lake. From early morning, when the gauzy mist rose off the lake, until late at night when lightning bugs twinkled all around them like falling stars, the girls were so happy and busy. The long summer days just flew past. After 2 weeks at Piney Point, the twins' noses were sprinkled with freckles, and their hair was golden and orange, so the Admiral called them the Tiger Lilies. The Admiral was one of the best parts of Piney Point. Each afternoon he joined Samantha, Agnes, and Agatha for his first swim. He paddled along his head, raised out of the water like a duck. Sometimes he invited the girls along when he took Grandmary out rowing in the moonlight. He gave Samantha a genuine bosniz whistle made out of shiny brass and taught her how to blow signals like the sailors did. He gave all three girls sailors' hats, which they proudly wore whenever they were boating on the lake. One day, still, the girls were picnicking wildflowers on the rocky hill behind the main house. Samantha raced ahead of the twins and scrambled up on the top of the boulder. She held an imaginary spyglass to one eye and looked all around her. Who am I? She asked Agatha. You're Admiral Archibald Penis, Agatha cried. She climbed up on the boulder next to Samantha. Righto, Samantha said with a salute. Gosh, panted Agnes as she stood up on the rock. You can see all from over here. You can see why it's called Goose Lake. Over there's the goose's thin neck, and there's this head. That big island at its eye. Look at that pretty island just below the goose's eye, said Agatha. What's that called, Samantha? That's Teardrop Island, Samantha answered. She climbed down from the boulder. Oh, it's because it's shaped like a teardrop, Agnes said. Did you see that rocky cliff? Asked Agatha. She pointed to a cliff at the end of Teardrop Island. I'd love to climb that, if I can see all the way to New York from here. I have a great idea, exclaimed Agnes. Let's go to Teardrop Island tomorrow. We can go to the canoe and take a picnic and stay all day. That would be fun, agreed Agatha. We could bring our paints, too. No, said Samantha, but the twins didn't hear her. We can be real explorers. Agatha went on. We can hike from one end of the island to the other. No, Samantha said again louder. I don't want to go there. The twins were surprised. Why not? Because it's not a good place, said Samantha. She pushed her sweaty bangs off her forehead. But it looks so pretty, said Agatha. What's the matter with it? Are there bears and wolves on the island? Asked Agnes. Is it dangerous? The island isn't dangerous. We have to go through the narrow part of the lake to get there, said Samantha. It's filled with big sharp rocks. We can steer around those rocks, said Agatha. That's easy. The dangerous rocks are hidden underwater. You can't see them, but you can still rip out of the bottom of your boat, said Samantha. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said softly, that's where my mother and father drowned. There was a storm, and their boat was wrecked on the rocks. They were on their way back to Teardrop Island. Oh, said both twins. They look very sad. That's terrible, Samantha. That's terrible, said Agatha quietly. That's just terrible. We're sorry, said Agnes. We didn't know about what happened there. We didn't mean to make you feel bad, Samantha. We really didn't. I know, said Samantha. She bent down to pick some wildflowers growing in the boulder. It's just that I hate to think about Teardrop Island. It makes me sad and scared. I never want to go there. Not ever. I don't want to go there either, said Agatha. Me either, said Agnes. Besides, there are plenty of other things we can go and things we can do. That's right, agreed Agatha. There are millions of things to do at Piney Point. Come on, let's go swimming. It's too hot to pick any more flowers. We'll race you, said Agnes. She grabbed Samantha's hand. Come on, Samantha. The three girls ran very fast down the hill towards the shining lake. The night was very hot. The Admiral helped drag their mattresses out to the little porch on Wood Chicken so they could sleep out in the warm, soft breeze in the lake. There was a patch of velvety black sky above them, framed by the tops of the pine trees. Hundreds of stars glittered and winked at them. The girls stretched out on their backs with their heads together. There are a lot more stars here than there are in the city, said Agnes. And they're much closer, said Agatha. Agreed Samantha. The girl could hear waves lapping peacefully against the shore. The murmur of the adults' voices drifted from the porch of the main house where Grandmary, Uncle Guard, Aunt Cornelia, and the Admiral sat to catch a breeze. Once in a while, the murmurs turned into laughter. The girls could hear the Admiral's loud, hearty ha-ha. Samantha smiled. I love the way the Admiral laughs. He sounds like a happy donkey. He's the best grown-up I've ever met, stated Agnes. He's not afraid of anything. He's not bossy, and he knows interesting things. He knows more about this place than anyone. He's been coming here for a long time, said Samantha. He was my grandfather's best friend. After Grandpa died, he kept coming anyway, all the way from England. Every summer, she rolled over on her stomach. Can you keep a secret? She whispered. Yes, exclaimed the twins. They rolled over on their stomachs, too, and wiggled close to Samantha. Well, Samantha whispered, I heard Mrs. Hawkins tell Elsa once that every summer the Admiral asked Grandmary to marry him. Gosh, breathed the twins, delighted with this secret. I guess Grandmary always says no, sighed Agatha. Wonder why. Doesn't she like him? Asked Agnes. I don't know, said Samantha. I think she likes him a lot. Well, said Agnes definitely, if they ever did get married, you'd have a great-grandfather. You mean a step-grandfather, corrected Agatha. I mean a grandfather who is great, said Agnes. I think the Admiral would be the best grandfather in the world. So do I, said Samantha. She put her cheek down on her hands and closed her eyes. The soft breeze soon sang her to sleep. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.